Welcome to Jurassic Park.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Why don't we just wait here for a little while?
Do you want to know what it is?
There's no knowing where you might be swept off to.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee.
I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
There's a special rug in hell reserved for people who waste good scotch.
He peed on my rug.
He peed on the dude's rug.
Do your worst.
Final report of the commercial starship Nostromo.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Welcome to your feature presentation. I am your host, Heath Fall. This is March 27th. This is the weekly show where we talk about movies coming out this weekend. With me today is Andrew McKay.
Hello, everyone. Heath, question for you. Why did the movie fan bring a map to the cinema?
Why did the movie fan bring a map to the cinema? Why?
Yeah, because they heard the film was directional. Greetings, movie navigator.
What? It's barely a joke.
It's not a joke. It's funny because it's not a joke. Oof, we're going to make it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, we got a couple movies coming out this weekend. We've got In the Land of Saints and Sinners and Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. And it's also Easter on Sunday.
Yeah,
so that's
Easter.
Pretty fun. Happy
yeah,
Easter.
I do like that.
We always joke. Yeah, Good Friday on Friday, Easter on Sunday. I am really excited. I've got a daughter who's 20 months, and she's obsessed with bunnies. And it's been me and my wife's joke is like, oh, just wait until she sees Easter. Like, there's bunnies everywhere. You're not even ready.
I do remember that from our extended time together, is her asking,
yes.
Bunny?
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 She loves them. So yeah, do you want to read some summaries here for us for these movies?
Oh man, of course I do. So Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, is about two ancient titans, Godzilla and Kong, clashing in an epic battle as humans unravel their intertwined origins and connect to Skull Island's mysteries.
Beautiful. Yeah, so this is another Godzilla. I don't know why it's an X, like Godzilla versus Kong. It's like, because I think we all know they're just going to team up, so it's Godzilla and Kong kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the X stands for or how I'm supposed to say it.
Yeah, do you pronounce the X?
Or you do just say Godzilla Kong?
Godzilla Kong. Yeah, because it doesn't feel right to say Godzilla X Kong. I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like, I don't know. If we can't figure it out, it does feel like maybe they should have made it easier, but that's just my opinion.
Well,
yeah, so this is starring Rebecca Hall, Dan Stevens, Rachel House, Vala Chen, Kaylee Hodel, I believe. So there's only like two actors that are in this. Well, main actors, I guess you'd say, the main characters that were in the last one. But yeah, did you see? Yeah, do you like the Godzilla movies, the Kong movies?
You know, I have an interesting relationship with them. I am a new fan of Godzilla, and I've already dipped my toes. I'm about ankle deep into Godzilla, and I'm wading out. I'm getting deeper. I'm happy to see.
Good usage for a Godzilla.
Thank you. I was hoping someone would pick up on that. I'm happy to see Brian Tyree Henry in anything, to be honest. From Get Out. That was the first movie I saw him in. It was great. Dan Stevens is the Beast, and I don't think that I can watch him in any movie and not think about him being the Beast from the live action.
And you're just saying he's just like a buff dude. He's just like a beast, right? That's what you're saying.
Beauty and the Beast. Did I say the movie was called The Beast?
You just said he's the Beast.
He is the Beast.
So it's like, I think in more ways than one. So yeah, he played the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, the live action. Emma Watson.
Okay, yes. I'm sorry, I'm looking right now, and I think I misspoke. I don't think that Brian Tyree Henry was in Get Out.
Oh.
What do you know him from?
I was going to say, I think
he was in Bullet
wasn't he-
Train recently.
Yes, that's what I know him from. Yep. Yeah, he played the two brothers, right? That were.
Yeah, so funny.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Into the Spider-Verse, Bullet Train, Windows. If Beale Street Could Talk.
Still terrific. Love him.
Yeah, he's Jeff Morales in the.
Great. Hey,
Animated
nobody's
Spider-Man.
perfect, you know?
Oh yeah, he was in Eternals too. Speaking of not perfect.
Oh, very cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, different episode. We'll do a
so
Beauty
he
and the
was-
Beast combo with Beauty and the Beast
Yeah.
and Eternals.
Sounds boring. Anyway, we should make each other do a video on or a podcast on movies that we know the other person doesn't. Like I'm
Heath,
going to make you.
that
watch
is
this
such a
movie.
good idea.
Yeah, be like, all right, that's a movie I like, but I know you hate it, so we're going to talk about it, and vice versa.
We have to write this down. That's amazing.
Hey, better than that. It's been recorded and published for all to see.
Oh my gosh. All right, so we have Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah.
The New
This is-
Empire.
The New Empire. Yeah, I don't know. I'm one of those people, I just like monster movies. I love this kind of stuff. Like, I love Pacific Rim, Godzilla, King Kong. Like, it's got a big monster in it. Like, I find them more interesting than like a standard action movie, but that's just me. So, I'm excited about this one. I don't think it's going to be anything amazing. Similar thing, like, if you like these movies, I think you'll have a fun time. If you don't, like, I don't think this will change your mind. This director did Godzilla vs. Kong, another pandemic movie straight to streaming.
Yes.
But yeah, he's done Blair Witch, some Outcast TV, The Guest. Oh, he did like VHS 2, The ABCs of Death, VHS. Yeah,
So-
I think it's fun. I don't know.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I'm sorry. You continue.
That is an interesting thing that I noticed. The transition for the director, Adam, to go from horror movies into Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really feel like he had, like, I don't really feel like he's incorporated his horror background into the Godzilla movies, because that would be, for me personally, a more compelling take on Godzilla.
Like as a horror?
A more grounded horror movie as a brand new fan to Godzilla.
Godzilla minus one.
Is that what Godzilla minus one is? Because I haven't seen it yet.
I'm zipping the lip.
You
I'm not
zip
gonna
it.
say.
Shut up, Heath.
No, we're gonna do an episode on Godzilla minus one at some point. Unfortunately, I looked it up and there's no information on when it'll be available to stream or like to buy. In the
We can't
US,
even buy
it. No. But so I think it's an overseas movie. So I think what's going on is they're looking for like a U.S. distributor. You know, like how it's going to be distributed. So I think that's what's going on right now because it was such a big movie. Because I'd love to talk about that movie too. But so we'll do that when it's available. But it's funny, they're both Godzilla, but they're very different. And I can't wait to talk about Godzilla minus one. But this is like, I don't want to say opposite, but it's a different take on Godzilla. And this is very much, if you've seen the trailer for Godzilla Kong, it is, it's the Avengers, you know, like there's a scene of Godzilla and Kong like running next to each other. And it's just like, you're expecting them to like high five.
Yes, absolutely. Like, monsters assemble. So I'll
And
be
then
honest.
Batman showed up.
I'll be honest that I don't think that I was an actual Godzilla fan until Monarch. So when I
TV
say
show.
I'm new. I'm brand new, baby.
Yeah, that's
I watched
this year.
Monarch. It was end of last year, 2023.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And I loved it so much. It wasn't, don't come at me, it wasn't because of Kurt Russell. Maybe he played a part in how much I loved it, but I don't want to talk about it. Okay. I
Well,
love Kurt Russell.
I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
No, I
it
same
was.
here.
Did you watch it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What did you think? Because I really enjoyed that take.
Oh yeah, I love it. And that's something too, I would say, if someone is like, I don't like these Godzilla movies, like these American ones, I think Monarch could still get you into it. It is just I think it's just like a well done show that I could totally see someone being like, oh, I hated Godzilla versus Kong, but like I love Monarch. Like I could definitely see
totally
that
agree.
being. And I think most people who like Godzilla would like Monarch, but just because maybe this isn't your thing, but I think you'd still check out Monarch because I think it's just a quality TV show, which is why I'm trying really hard not to talk about Godzilla -1 because that's not what we're about. We're talking about Godzilla.
Save
Kong,
it.
the
Save it.
new Empire. Save it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's going to be a fun movie. I'm excited for it.
I agree. Up next, what do we got, Heath?
Yeah, we got In the Land of Saints and Sinners.
Ah, yes. In a remote Irish village, a damaged father is forced to fight for redemption after a lifetime of sins. But what price is he willing to pay? In the end of Saints and Sinners, some sins can't be buried. So we have Liam Neeson in Taken 4. I mean, in the land of Saints and Sinners.
Yeah. I had the same thought. It's so funny because I feel like we've gotten so many of these style films with like Liam Neeson being a action guy, and not saying they're all similar, but I feel like my first thought was, oh, it's just another Liam Neeson action thing.
Which is very
what did you think
interesting
about
because I maybe 10 years ago wouldn't have really thought Liam Neeson to be the like hand-to-hand combat and like gun action star that I think he's become post Taken. Like the Taken movies, Grey, and a plethora of other things. Like 10 years ago, I thought of Schindler's List for Liam Neeson. I thought of Qui-Gon Jinn, who is my personal favorite Jedi, who is intellectual, right? But even in like The A-Team in 2010 was 14 years ago. He wasn't like the gun guy. There were other characters that were that guy. So it's very interesting to me to see Liam Neeson like take on, I'm hesitant to say stereotype, but take on the archetype maybe of the hesitant, retired assassin for so many movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this guy, this one did intrigue me. To me, I not that it's bad. I enjoyed Taken, but it does feel like we're both dads, but it feels like a dad action movie. You know, like that's what I assume with a Liam Neeson action movie nowadays. But honestly, the trailer kind of intrigued me about this one. I was like, this seems kind of interesting. Like it's more of a revenge movie, I would say, than a straight up action movie. Directed by Robert Lawrence. So he did other, directing he's done. The Marksman, Trouble with the Curve. So pretty straightforward kind of things. But then this one, I don't know, it did feel a bit different to me. Like I appreciate the Taken 4 reference, but it does feel like it's going to be a little different, a little more interesting that to me. Do you feel that way, or do you think this is just another on the pile?
I do think that it is a little more interesting than just a Taken 4 per se. It's a completely different character. Liam Neeson is a great actor, and I'm sure he's very aware of the number of action movies that are kind of in this archetype that he's done. So I'm sure he's bringing something new to it, and that's why he agreed to it. I just don't know if the trailer was able to show me why it was new. Like I'm expectant of it to be new, but I'm not sure how it's going to do it yet. So I am intrigued, but it's going to have to, I think in a positive way, it's going to have to prove itself to me a little bit.
Yeah, like maybe this is going to be a movie where you just want to kind of see some reviews, maybe, or some word of mouth. You need something more to just go jump and go see it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good realization, especially, I mean, I don't want to jump the gun, but if we're talking like movies to see between the two for wide release for the weekend, like, well, I'll save that for later.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, let's get to that right now. Godzilla.
Hey, great.
Vs. Kong, The Land of Saints and Sinners. What are you going to go see?
I think because I'm a baby Godzilla fan, I think I'm going to see Godzilla X Kong. However, I stand by. I love Liam Neeson. And I'm intrigued by the story possibilities. So I hope that there's something new and fresh here. If not, I'll probably end up watching that movie anyway. But for the weekend, my ticket, I think Godzilla X Kong gets my butt in that seat.
Not surprising. That's what I would go see too. Someday we'll have a different movie that we want to go see. Yeah, I think for me, I really enjoy the Godzilla movies in general. Like, no matter what studio is doing, what country they're from, I'm like, I like them. They're big monsters. It's fun, especially on a big screen. Like, this movie's gonna look good, and it's gonna be, I don't know, just it's fun. I would call it like it's a popcorn movie. It's just fun to sit in the theater and have some popcorn and just have a good time. And speaking of being in the theater, eating popcorn, we teased last week. We don't mean to make these part twos, but it just keeps happening. We run out of time. So you wanted to bring up a theater experience that we had, and we saw a movie called Dune 2. I don't know if you've remember that at all.
Yeah,
maybe some other.
It's a little indie film. I don't know if our listeners have heard about it. Our experience there at the theater, we were in Florida at the time, was just shy of life-changing, I'll say. I'm gonna share something, and then I want you to pick it up.
Okay, deal.
With your experience, because we walk into this theater and we open the glass doors and immediately are met with a counter with a theater worker at the counter, just chilling there. So we go up and we say, hey, we've got tickets, blah, 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 blah. We get our physical ones. She points us down the hallway that is immediately to her right. And she says, your theater's down there. So we start walking down there, expecting some sort of concessions. We've been literally talking about concessions for over a day, over 24 hours. We've been talking about like what we're going to get. And we get to the hallway of doors for all the theaters, and there's nothing. There's no concessions. So we're a little confused. We find our theater, and we stop a janitor, a young man who looks very sad, honestly, which made me a little sad. Like, hey, it's a movie theater, be happy. But we stop him and we say, hey, man, where do we get the food and drinks that we want? Where do we get concessions? And he goes from downcast to a big old smile. And he says, take it away, Heath. What does he say? What does he tell us?
I don't even remember how he said it. What did he? You remember what he said?
He said, oh, man, when you get to your seat, there's a little button. You push that button, and we come to you. And I think both of our jaws were on the ground, and we were like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Yeah, so, same from my perspective, because I didn't remember what he said, but the joy on his face when he's like, I get to bless these guys, because he can tell we're just two dudes going to see Dune, and it's like, I'm going to make their night with what I'm about to say. But yeah, it was crazy. It's a Studio Movie Grill, if anybody's been to that before. I live in northern Michigan, and I don't think there's one in the state. We were in Florida, and I think there's one in Chicago and several other places. But it's very much a experience where what we saw in the Florida one is just like, it's staggered, so every row of seats is on a different level. So if there's like a server in front of you, like the person behind you can see over their head, which is really cool. But yeah, it was amazing. So it felt like we were walking into a club, and then we got to just sit down, and there was a little button, and it was like a recliner, and then like a table swings in front of you, and you push this button, and a server comes out, and like straight up like restaurant, and it's like, yeah, what would you like today? And man, it was fun. It was like, I felt so cool. And my favorite question I've ever been asked in a movie is, I'm a big fan of Yuengling, which is a beer you can get on like East Coast areas. We cannot get it in Michigan, which is why whenever I'm out of state and they have Yuengling, it's always a go-to for me. I was like, ooh, yeah, I'll have a Yuengling. And then she says, would you like another one in 40 minutes? And I'm like, this is all I've wanted. This is literally, I want to be treated this way everywhere I go. Like, I don't want to buy like 2 beers or like, whenever I want a second one. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to have like 2-3 beers tonight, whatever. It's like, bring me one every 40 minutes. It is like,
yep,
that's the thing, right?
The beer timer was next level.
It was perfect. And I was like, they should incorporate that in other places. Like, that should be, like, I used to be a server. I worked at Outback Steakhouse. And I'm like, I should have pulled that move. Like, when someone's like, oh, I want a beer, I'd be like, do you want another one in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, Be like, I do. Yeah. Yeah, so we definitely...
Yeah, you really think about it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. And what we teased last week is we did go see Dune 2. Our reaction is on Spotify. That was fun. We basically just got in the car and just like started recording, and so you can hear our reaction on Spotify to what our initial like raw thoughts were on Dune 2.
Yeah.
Spoiler: we enjoyed it. But you wanted to talk about the knife fight, so why don't you tell us about what you wanted to say? I cut you off because you were telling me this off pod, and I was like,
yeah,
save it.
Yeah.
Save it for the pod.
Listen, folks, Heath and I were having a discussion not being recorded, and he said, hey, shut up, dude. We can put it on the pod. So after I finished crying, I said, okay. No, I'm just kidding. I really wanted to talk about the knife fight. There's a lot of things we could talk about, like lack of music, how they filmed it, blah, 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 whatever. I want to talk about what's been happening for several weeks, and what is happening, I think, currently on social media, which is like to make fun of the saying that, the phrase that Paul says when Paul says, may the knife chip and shatter with his knife. And Fade Rotha just goes, may thy knife chip and shatter, and then starts attacking immediately, right? So he goes in, spoilers, sorry, not super spoiler, but a little bit of spoiler. You should have seen the movie by now.
They have a knife fight. Spoiler.
They have a knife fight. So that's, people are kind of making fun of, like, well, is Fade kind of like mocking Paul? Does he just not get it, that what Paul is saying? There's lots of different jokes that people are making. The main thing that I want to talk about is that the opinion that was a sloppy writing decision, I think, is false. And I've seen I've only seen one person talk about how this is actually intentional. And I completely agree that Paul Atreides saying, "May thy knife chip and shatter," coming from Jamis, I think I say his name right, because when I read the book, I said it as Jamis, and I think he doesn't say that in the movie, but maybe he does. The guy he has to duel first and kind of prove his worth to the Fremen, he ends up killing him. But how Jamis starts the fight is by saying that phrase, and Paul doesn't say anything. So they start the duel, Paul stays silent. So when Paul begins the duel that will settle whether or not he is Fremen, whether or not he gets to be their Messiah and gets to be the ruler, the God Emperor, basically, eventually, that turning point, the pivot there, he begins with that phrase, and the contrast of him and Fade is shown in Fade saying that phrase back to him, because Paul is very Fremen. He's spent a long time adapting to the culture, investing in the culture, and pushing off this Messiah thing that's been pushed onto him. So for him to say that phrase, it's almost like a rousing political speech to the Fremen that are there, that are witnessing the fight, and it's a dig against the Emperor, because he's saying, listen, I might be Harkonnen, I might be the result of your generations upon generations of like crossbreeding and genetic modifications in order for me to be the Messiah, but I reject that, and I am Fremen, and I am for these people. And Fade Rafa saying it in a mocking tone is his admission of being the false prophet, being the false Messiah, because he doesn't get it. He's not connected. He just showed up, and it's ultimately like the duel between the two of them is going to decide who gets to rule Arrakis. Is it Paul or is it Fade? And I love that scene so much.
Wow. That was amazing. I'm glad we saved it. There is so much to that movie. And I guess we should have put a spoiler for Dune 1, because you gave a spoiler for Dune 1.
Whoops. Sorry.
But you didn't spoil Dune 2, so I think we're safe. We talk about movies to go see, and like this week we were both like Godzilla vs. Kong is the new movie to see, but I won't say this too much because a lot of people are talking about Dune, but it's like, go see Dune 2 if you haven't. And if you haven't seen the first one, go see the first one, go see the second one. Like, it's an amazing movie. That's all I got to say.
Yep. Yeah. I think I had some coworkers ask me about it because I was really talking it up before the release, and they were like, "Oh, did you get to go see your little movie?" And they were joking around or whatever. But I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that it is the cinematic event of a generation. We're gonna remember this for a long, long, long time.
And me and you.
Did you see Dune Part 2 in theaters? Were you around for that? Yes, I was.
No. Did you see it in the Studio Movie Grill? where there's a beer timer.
Not many can say yes.
Awesome. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. You got anything last to say?
Man, see you later, movie navigators.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part. Yeah, go see a movie.
Go see a movie.